Over 1400 years ago, in the mountain ranges of China, there existed a kingdom of martial artists. The kingdom is now all but extinct and has fallen into history as the Musk Dynasty. The men of the clan, warriors who strived to become the greatest martial artists of all time, were separated from their mothers at birth and trained without such distractions as, or even knowledge of, the opposite sex. They were practitioners of the ancient and ill-devised form mimicry technique, the art of fighting with the instinct, abilities, and primal rage of the animals. So crazed were they for animalistic strength that these warriors were determined to become one with the animals in order to reach that goal. After extensive study of the animals, carefully selecting them based on their strengths, stamina, and characteristics, the Musk Dynasty would hunt down these animals, capture them with their bare hands, bind them up, and throw them into the spring of drowned girl, to transform these powerful creatures into human females. What followed? Any civilized and unforgiving society would frown on. The Musk Dynasty had two treasures more valuable than gold. The first was the Pail of Preservation. Any water drawn from this pail becomes a mystic liquid and freezes one's appearance. The Musk Dynasty would use this water to forever seal the animals in their human female form. The warriors would then marry and mate with the transformed animals so that the animalistic abilities would be passed on to their offspring. The dynasty's other prized possession was a magic kettle, the water pot of liberation. So magical was this kettle, simply submerging it in water was enough to make it boil, no flame required. With power equal to that of the pail, the boiling water poured from this kettle could lift the seal on the curse. Determined never to restore their concubines to their original form, the pot exchanged hands throughout the years until finally the warriors locked it away atop Japan's Horai Mountain, a barren place shrouded by jungle and guarded by savage chimps. And there it remained hidden for centuries, neglected by its owners, its services never needed or wanted, until now. The present day, the leader of the Amazon tribe, Cologne, received a visit from the leader of the Musk Dynasty and sole heir to the throne, Princess Herb. The princess had come in search of the water pot of liberation. Cologne passed on the information the princess needed and she left, but not before bumping into Ranma Tome. And that's when he got on her bad side. Like all members of the royal family, Herb is the offspring of a dragon that was cast into the spring of drowned girl. As a result of her bloodline, she has inherited the fighting and gravity-defying abilities of the dragons. Herb is the master of Ki and lord of the dragons. As such, she has mastered all forms of martial arts and any and all Ki attacks. The Kachu Tenshin Amaguriken, the Shishi Hokodan, the Hiryu Shotenha. You name it, she knows it. We have all seen the blood, sweat, and tears Ranma Tome has put into mastering these abilities, but Herb has been fed these moves since the cradle, and has long since made them her own. In essence, she is to Ranma Tome what 006 is to 007, an opponent that can anticipate and undermine his every move and counter-move. An opponent who knows all the traits of being an anything-goes martial artist. She can read his every move. She knows every technique that Ranma has ever mastered. More than likely, she knows even the techniques that Ranma doesn't know yet and may never know. In fact, thanks largely to she and the dragons being of one mind and body, Herb possesses moves so high above Ranma that he would need to climb a ladder atop the tallest mountain just to tie her shoes. Her bloodline enables the warrior princess to fly, and her key energy attacks rival even the Shishi Hokodan. Combining these abilities, she is able to unleash her favorite attack, Ryu Sei Hisho, or Soaring Dragon Spirit. As she shoots through the air, too fast for her opponents to see, Herb lobs 2 fireballs, not at her opponent, but at the ground. The key bounces off the surface and slams her opponents from both sides. Few have lived to tell about this dreaded attack. But the princess doesn't limit her key attacks to projectiles. With her Hito Ryuzan Ha melee attack, she is able to channel her energy to her forearm and use it as a sword. No need to carry weapons on her. Even though she probably doesn't need them, Princess Herb has a pair of loyal subjects to do her bidding, and, like all of her society, they too are the descendants of fierce creatures. And just as Herb matches Ranma in strength, these henchmen could easily give Ryoga and Moose a run for their money. Lime is of tiger descent, and is by far one of the strongest henchmen an opponent could ask for. If you thought Ryoga Hibiki was tough, you haven't seen nothing. This giant indestructible menace makes Mr. Hibiki look like Pichon. Punches don't hurt him. Avalanches don't hurt him. He pulls up trees as though they were garden weeds. Lime possesses such an unimaginable resistance to pain that Iron Mike Tyson himself would probably break his hand trying to hurt him. The man is so strong that should one be unfortunate enough to be caught in an earthquake, just toss him down the crevice and he'll hold the tectonic plates there with ease. Surprisingly, Lime is one of the few martial artists in the Ranma 1/2 universe who doesn't have any special patented attacks of his own. In fact, he uses very little strategy and resorts to brute force to solve every situation. Mint's mother was a wolf cast into the cursed spring. While at first glance he may look like a young version of Inuyasha, he should not be taken lightly. He is by no means as strong as Lime. In fact, his strength is pretty average, but his inhuman speed and cunning battle techniques more than compensate for what he lacks in strength. He is quite handy with swords and throwing knives, and with his Roga Ryusaidan, or Wolf Fang Meteor Bullets attack, he can hurl hundreds of bladed projectiles at speeds comparable to a machine gun. He is quite the worthy foe against masters of hidden weapons like Moose. No matter how many hidden weapons you throw, Mint is able to dodge and cut his way through all of them. Even off the battlefield, there is nowhere to hide from Mint. Like all good dogs, he is able to pick up his opponent's scent and sniff them out. Another trait he picked up from his mother's side. Under normal circumstances, I'd say Mint is the brains to Lime's brawn, but the truth is both are equally stupid and share the exact same foibles. Lime and Mint are virgins by definition, and should they not clean up their act, they'll probably end up 40-year-old virgins. Being separated from their mothers all their lives, neither of they have had any association whatsoever with women. Now, having passed the puberty phase, their hormones have taken complete control over their actions. For they, simply talking to a girl is like getting to fourth base. I'm not even gonna tell you how bad they are when it actually involves something sexual. Well, okay, maybe just a little. Lime and Mint both have an irrational fascination in women's boobs and bums. Whenever he sees an attractive girl, Lime is compelled to grab her on the ass and give it a good squeeze. Mint, on the other hand, has a little more self-control and is polite enough to at least ask before touching, though his requests are normally answered with a boot to the head. Never does it occur to either of them that the things they do are perverted. In fact, it is doubtful they even know the definition of perverted. Incidentally, their debauchery can be used against them. No matter how intense the fight may be, all an opponent need do is shout out, "Boobies!" And Lime and Mint will stop what they're doing and desperately look in the direction their opponent is pointing, giving the foe enough time to clobber them. And yes, they are stupid enough to fall for that same trick over and over again. Curiously, female bodies also seem to have an effect on Princess Herb. The mere sight of breasts are enough to distract her in combat. Not in a sexual sense, but rather she seems embarrassed and uncomfortable to be fighting or even seen with a fellow female in the nude. She definitely shows no interest in men. I'd say she's a lesbian, but if she prefers women, it's surely not in a sexual way. Getting back to the henchmen, any woman will do for them. Lime has been attracted to Akane Tendo. Mint has been attracted to Shampoo. Both have been attracted to girl-type Ranma. But of all their would-be lovers, none have interested they more than Princess Herb herself. Like Ukyo Kuonji, Herb had kept her female body hidden from all for a long time. But it wasn't until that fateful encounter with Ranma Saotome did her two henchmen get a good look at her chest. From then on, Lime and Mint lusted over her beautiful booty. They spied on her when she bathed. They caressed her clothing while she was naked. They even fondled her fun bags while she slept. Needless to say, Herb did not approve of their sexual advances on her. Like Rouge, the princess has limited tolerance for perverts. She will not hesitate to key blast those who try to have their way with her, even if they protected her whole life. Robbed of her dignity, she became angered and consumed with vengeance. She took the pail of preservation and splashed Ranma with its water, sealing he in his female form. From then on, it was personal. Ranma swore to follow the Musk Dynasty to the farthest ends of the earth if need be, and reclaim his manhood. Ryoga and Moose joined Ranma on his quest, but not to help liberate Ranma of the seal. They wanted the Pail of Preservation to free themselves of the duck and the pig. But why does Herb want the water pot of liberation? And why is she so shy around other girls? And why do Lime and Mint keep calling her master and not mistress? Wait a minute. Could it be? Suddenly this is starting to make a goofy kind of sense. As it turns out, Princess Herb excuse me, Prince Herb is yet another victim of the Djclyve Springs. Coincidentally enough, he has the exact same curse as Ranma, but the circumstances surrounding how he got it are quite different. Unlike his ancestors, Herb did not have to spend considerable time surveying the animals to find potential concubines. His clan abandoned the whole bestiality thing long ago, and now select brides based on their skills in the martial arts. However, the males were still separated from their mothers at birth, and Herb was no exception. When it was announced that he would enter an arranged marriage, he journeyed to Djclyve to study these creatures called women. He simply grabbed the first monkey that he saw and threw it into the Djclyve spring. Unfortunately, back then, Herb was still much like his servants, naive, sexually inexperienced, and oblivious to the female body. Even though his ancestors had been doing it for centuries, being devoid of women his whole life made him unprepared for this big moment. When the monkey emerged from the spring of drowned girl, Herb was instantly mesmerized by her body, and that was all the cheeky monkey needed. She pushed the distracted Herb into the spring of drowned girl, and he changed. Herb immediately went into a state of shock, entranced at the sight of his newly bulbous chest. This gave the monkey girl the opening she needed, and she immediately splashed Herb with water from the pail of preservation. Hence, here we are now. Now I have to say it serves him right. I mean, seriously, think about it. All those years his tribe has spent scouring the globe for worthy animals to bring into his little bestiality cult. And of all the animals to choose from, he picked a monkey to practice on? Fornicating with a monkey? How many global diseases have started with some freak doing the nasty with a monkey? He's practically bowling for STDs at that point. Way to put the whole world in danger, guy. Thanks a lot. Come on, have a little more sense than that. Hasn't anyone ever seen Outbreak? Sheesh. No wonder the damn Musk Dynasty is nearly extinct. From then on, Herb hated monkeys with a passion. But he hated Ranma even more. Not only because she continuously robbed him of his dignity, turning his servants into two rabid hornballs, but also because Ranma was the spitting image of the monkey girl who caused all this trouble. This curse, together with his experience in martial arts, truly makes Herb Ranma's match, the enemy who knows him best, inside and out. Herb's destiny is clear. First, reclaim the treasure, then reclaim his manhood, and then reclaim the world, and then get revenge. This has been a Ranma 1/2 Character Profile! Special thanks go out to Kira999, H. Traking 17, Pikachu Little, Pink Bun 17, Chaos Sonic 101, Byro PG Rules, Ed Dog 6666, John 11719, Anime 84, Phileo Soul 1, The Miku Lover 666, Waj 9876, Red Mustang 03, Super Lard Bucket, Sex and Toast, Samuripe, Gildy 77, W33B33, Razor Raven 619, Dragon Flare, Marvel Rocks 9, Yuffie 25, 9753 Matt, Zenezherman, Masked Man 67, Ten-Tailed Tiger, Welcome to My Lives, With 377, Fury for Justice, Soldier of Kazus, Dark Crocs, Shadow Satis, and K-Falx for the requests.
Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. Little Jackie Paper loved that rascal Puff and brought him strings and sealing wax and other fancy stuff. Together they would travel on a boat with billowed sail. Jackie kept a lookout perched on Puff's gigantic tail. Noble kings and princes would bow whene'er they came. Pirate ships would lower their flags when Puff roared out his name. Oh, Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu.
This profile was brought to you in part by JWStudios and by Shade.